Welcome to our video series on understanding borrowers' loan protection from PCBB. In this session, we'll discuss the steps for completing a BLP deal. If you would like a detailed overview of BLP before beginning this session, please watch the video, Borrower's Loan Protection, Your Competitive Advantage. We also recommend that before starting any BLP deal, you should check whether your borrower is an eligible contract participant, or ECP. This is a critical step to handle early in the process. PCBB takes responsibility for confirming if your borrower is ECP qualified. However, for a reminder of ECP qualifications, please see the video, Borrower's Loan Protection, which loan types and borrowers qualify for BLP, or view the ECP criteria in a sample BLP rate protection agreement, which you can find right in this BLP portal. In fact, it's also important to provide a sample RPA to your borrower early in the BLP process, so the borrower is familiar with the agreement and so that we can address questions your borrower may have before the closing date. If you need assistance, let us know. We're happy to help. In today's session, we'll discuss the steps for a BLP deal, the presentation to your borrower, the underwriting process, and the signing, funding, and closing process. When you feel confident that you have a qualified borrower, you can create a borrower presentation customized with your bank's name and logo and personalized for your borrower. The presentation will include the prepayment details and loan amount. It also includes the indicative fixed rate. You can create a custom presentation on the Borrower Presentation tab located within this BLP portal. Once you and your borrower have agreed to move forward with a BLP transaction, the next step is to begin the underwriting process. One item that you should consider in your underwriting process is the soft exposure related to the hedge. This can be included as a footnote to your standard LTV assessment in the credit memo. The exposure is based on a Monte Carlo simulation and is provided by PCBB in the BLP portal in the tab called Exposure. Once your institution is given underwriting approval, you'll email the approved credit memo back to our BLP team for hedge approval. Once the appraisal is available, you should also send that to our BLP team. Note that sending the appraisal at a later time than the credit memo will not delay the approval. You'll receive a decision from us within 24 to 48 hours. When the loan is approved for the hedge, we move on to the next step of your BLP deal, creating the document package. At this point, we'll send you insertion language for the loan documents and title instructions. You'll then need to provide our BLP team with a draft of your loan documents containing the BLP insertion language for our review. These documents will include the promissory note, deed of trust or mortgage, and other relevant loan documents. Once our team receives this information, we'll create a draft rate protection agreement, or RPA. This legal document establishes the fixed rate and prepayment agreement between PCBB and the borrower. The draft RPA will include details on the loan amount, term, amortization, and credit spread. Fixed rate, payment amount, and schedule will be determined at the time of closing and provided in the final RPA. Together, we'll work to make any revisions. Then, PCBB will review and approve the loan documents. This process takes about 1 hour for standard loan documents and up to 48 hours for more complex documents. Once the documentation is approved, you'll move on to the last step of the BLP deal. This will include document signing, funding the loan, and closing. Start this stage by scheduling a closing date and time with your borrower that falls within market hours. Then, notify our BLP team with the details. Note that all closing documents must also be received by PCBB within market hours. Make sure to allow time for document transmittal. Make sure to provide us with contact information for the closing representative as well. 24 hours before the closing appointment, you'll need to confirm the date and time with our BLP team. You will also want to provide any updates to the loan prior to closing. Our BLP team will provide you with the executable RPA approximately 15 to 30 minutes before the scheduled closing time. This final RPA will contain the fixed rate based on the swap rate at that time. During the closing appointment, your borrower will execute the promissory note, the RPA, and the deed of trust or mortgage, as well as any other relevant loan documents. Your team will email the signed documents to the BLP team at PCBB. Note that PCBB must receive the executed deed of trust or mortgage, promissory note, and RPA no later than 1:15 p.m. Pacific Time on the day of signing. You will then receive a servicing certificate from our BLP team, which should be signed and emailed back to PCBB. After closing is complete, our team will work with your operations team to coordinate ongoing payments and statements. Congratulations! You've completed a BLP transaction and now have a satisfied borrower. This concludes our session on completing a BLP deal. For a helpful ongoing reference, you can download our BLP process checklist, which can be found in the Documents tab of the BLP portal. Remember, you can also find the Borrower Presentation and Exposure tabs here, as well as other helpful tools and information.